Gotham is a breeding ground for monsters, but Pennywise is different. He doesn't breathe, and he feeds on the very weapon Batman wields: fear. When red balloons drift through the Narrows, the world's greatest detective doesn't flinch. While Derry was easy prey, Gotham is a fortress of trauma protected by a man who turned his nightmares into armor. To Batman, Pennywise isn't a ghost. He's a biological anomaly. Today, we reveal Contingency Plan, Deadlights. This is how the Bat dismantles an ancient evil, with a conclusion so cold it would terrify Gotham more than the clown ever could. The detective versus the eater of worlds. To defeat Pennywise, you first have to understand him. But Batman doesn't believe in monsters. He believes in variables. While Pennywise thinks he's hunting, Batman is already performing a macrospatial analysis. Within 48 hours of the first disappearance, Bruce Wayne would have mapped every inch of the Gotham sewer system. He wouldn't wait for a jump scare. He'd be tracking the scent of decayed matter and the specific psychic frequency Pennywise emits. Batman's investigation would be clinical. He'd use the Bat satellite to track local fear spikes, neighborhoods where heart rates are rising and adrenaline levels are peaking simultaneously. He would find the pattern. Pennywise feeds every 27 years. Batman would realize this isn't a serial killer. It's an apex predator on a biological cycle. Pennywise's greatest strength is fear.
Aim to float.
He salts the meat by terrifying his victims because scared flesh simply tastes better to him. But here's the problem for the clown. Batman turned fear into a science decades ago. When Pennywise transforms into a giant spider or a werewolf to scare Bruce, Batman wouldn't scream.
Beautiful, isn't it?
He'd be recording the transformation with infrared lenses. He'd be measuring the displacement of mass. He would realize instantly that Pennywise is a projection. Batman's internal monologue would be cold. Entity relies on observer-dependent morphology. If I don't believe the teeth are there, the bite has no pressure. The mental fortress, the Deadlights immunity. Pennywise's ultimate weapon is the Deadlights. These are the true form of it, a mass of destructive, orange-glowing energy existing in the macroverse, outside our reality. One look into that glow, and your mind is shattered. You become a catatonic husk, floating in a psychic void forever. But Batman's mind isn't a normal mind. It's a vault. Bruce Wayne has undergone years of sensory deprivation and psychic shielding training with masters like Zatanna and the monks of Shambhala. He has a backup personality, the Batman of Zur-En-Arr, a cold, violent, and purely logical persona designed specifically to take over if Bruce's primary mind is ever compromised. If Pennywise tries to show Batman the Deadlights, Bruce wouldn't just look away. He would activate a neural scrambler in his cowl, a high-frequency pulse that prevents his brain from entering a hypnotic state. While the clown tries to melt his brain, Batman is running a diagnostic scan. He isn't fighting a demon. He's debugging a glitch in reality. He would use a localized AI to analyze the light patterns of the Deadlights in real time, feeding the data back into the Bat computer to find a frequency that cancels them out. Pennywise wants a victim. Batman gives him a processor. The Gotham Siege, starving the beast. Pennywise is an ambush predator. He thrives when his victims are isolated, small, and terrified. But Batman doesn't fight alone. He has a city. To kill Pennywise, Batman doesn't just attack the clown, he attacks the food supply. Batman would initiate protocol, Ghost Town. Using his influence as Bruce Wayne, he would trigger a citywide curfew under the guise of a chemical leak. But the real work happens in the air. Batman would deploy aerosolized lithium and selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, via the Batwing. This calm gas would blanket the Narrows and the slums, chemically suppressing the fear response in the citizens' brains. Pennywise emerges, looking for a feast of terror, but finds a city that is emotionally numb. The children aren't crying. The adults aren't panicking. They are calm. They are indifferent. For a creature that feeds on the vibration of fear, this is the equivalent of a famine. The Eater of Worlds begins to atrophy. He becomes a starving scavenger, forced to take risks, forced to come to Batman because he has nowhere else to turn for a meal. The Ritual of Chud, the tech version. In the original story, the losers used the Ritual of Chud, a battle of wills where you bite the monster's tongue and trade jokes until one of you dies. Batman, however, prefers a battle of applied physics. Bruce would reach out to his Justice League contacts. He'd get a shard of nth metal from Hawkman, a substance that disrupts magic and non-corporeal entities. He would forge this into specialized batarangs and thermal bat knuckles. He doesn't want to just hurt the clown, he wants to disrupt its molecular bond to our reality. He would lure Pennywise not to a house on Neibolt Street, but to a controlled acoustic chamber beneath Arkham Asylum. This room is lined with lead and reinforced with promethium. Using sonics, the same technology he uses to paralyze Superman, he would vibrate Pennywise's physical form at a frequency that prevents it from shapeshifting. He traps the clown in one shape, a weak shape, a mortal shape. Then comes the psychic counterstrike. Using a neurolink, Batman connects his mind to the clown's. Pennywise tries to show him the end of the universe, but Batman shows Pennywise the Joker. He shows him the darkness of the dark multiverse. He floods the clown's ancient mind with the chaotic, meaningless trauma of Gotham City. Pennywise, who has lived for billions of years, is suddenly overwhelmed by the sheer, concentrated misery of one man's crusade. For the first time in eons, the clown feels horror, excision, and exile. Batman doesn't just beat his enemies, he removes them from the equation with surgical finality. Once Pennywise is weakened, his molecular structure vibrated into a singular, stable form by high-frequency sonics, and his ancient mind stunned by a psychic counterload, Batman activates the endgame. He doesn't rely on earthly cages for a trans-dimensional threat. Instead, he utilizes a Phantom Zone projector, a piece of forbidden Kryptonian technology borrowed from the Fortress of Solitude. This device doesn't just move matter, it rips the Deadlights out of our three-dimensional reality entirely. He doesn't just kill the physical manifestation, he targets the essence. Batman exiles the creature into a subatomic void where the laws of physics are stagnant. There is no air to carry a mocking laugh, no minds to twist with nightmares, and no children to hunt. Pennywise is cast into a prison of absolute crushing nothingness, guarded by a containment field that even a god couldn't breach. The Eater of Worlds is reduced to a silent prisoner in a dimension of glass and eternal silence. For the clown, death would have been a mercy. Batman's solution is a cold, infinite erasure that ensures the red balloon never rises again. The twist: why this terrifies Gotham. But here is the part that would terrify Gotham City more than any clown ever could. To defeat Pennywise, Batman had to become more calculated, more cold, and more invasive than ever before. He didn't just fight a monster, he re-engineered a population. To starve the clown, Bruce Wayne turned the entire city into a giant monitored cage. Every heartbeat, every spike in adrenaline, and every nightmare was tracked by the Bat computer in real time. He deployed emotional dampeners into the reservoirs and aerosolized lithium into the smog. For a week, Gotham wasn't a city of people. It was a sterile laboratory. The citizens soon realized that their hero possessed the terrifying technology to dictate their very souls. With the press of a button, he could switch off their fear, their joy, or their anger, turning 1,000,000 vibrant lives into hollow, obedient shells. The Joker represents chaos, and Pennywise represents a nightmare. But a Batman who can surgically remove human emotion to win a tactical war? That is a god. When the smoke clears, the people of Gotham look up at the bat signal, and they don't see a protector anymore. They see a programmer, They realize that Pennywise was just a monster under the bed. But Batman owns the house, the bed, the water they drink, and the very air they breathe. The predator is gone, but the architect of their minds remains.
The forensic occult, tracking the untraceable.
Before the first punch is thrown, Batman must pinpoint the deadlight frequency. Pennywise doesn't just hide in shadows, he vibrates between the folds of our reality. To track this phantom, Batman utilizes a spectrospatial scanner to detect dimensional thinning and chronal leaks. While the police search for physical bloodstains, Batman tracks psychic respiration patterns, the literal breath of a nightmare. He discovers that wherever Pennywise manifests, the laws of entropy break down and local reality becomes unstable. Batman treats magic like corrupted, malicious code. He deploys micro-drones equipped with ectothermal sensors deep into the city's ancient drainage system. These drones ignore biological heat. Instead, they hunt for a void signature, a localized cold spot in the universe where heat and light simply vanish into nothingness. By cross-referencing these dark signatures with Gotham's 19th century blueprints, Bruce identifies the clown's primary lair. He realizes the entity is tethered to the city's oldest, most forgotten foundations. Batman isn't just descending to fight. He is performing a biological exorcism on the city's very roots to ensure the rot is pulled out forever. Pennywise thrives on the weak and the disorganized, but Batman has built a life out of becoming the strongest, most disciplined version of a human being possible. In a fight between the Eater of Worlds and the King of Preparation, the clown doesn't just lose, he becomes irrelevant. He is a bug hit by a windshield.
But what do you think? Could Pennywise find a crack in the Dark Knight's armor? Is there a trauma deep in Bruce's heart that even he hasn't mastered? Or is the Batcomputer's Deadlights file foolproof?
If you want to see more of these deep dive contingency plans, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button, hit the like if you think Batman wins every time, and comment below, which horror icon should the Dark Knight take down next? Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Pinhead?
The shadows are watching. See you in the next one.